Hey guys, welcome to the show. I hope you're having a great and awesome day. We have an amazing guest and we have an amazing tray available, which I'm very excited about.
The best in all the land.
I got a new upgraded tray. They sent me an updated model, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, no.
Oh no, not the updated model.
No, there is somebody missing in our show.
Oh,
There she is.
oh, she's back.
Oh,
Oh, that would
never
have been
mind. All
terrible.
good. All good.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to. You still have the voice on. Please turn it off. before you
It's
do
off.
that.
It's off.
Okay. That would have been terrible.
It's off. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, give me some beats.
Let's get it.
Hello, guys. Now I gotta say that I gotta make it all forever in this day. See you, cause we know what we're doing. I never be. Did you see the Wrexham beat this big fancy team? And they won only if I can't pretend B. And the Lions are beating all the Packers and G. And only if I couldn't see it all the night. Only if I couldn't do the things that is right. No, everybody's out of control. Looking for their mind and they wondering, yo, where are they going if they grow? Now they gotta be, cause they never waiting down. They waiting for me. Lose my mind. Dude, I'm trying to rap. Tripping when I'm sitting, cause I'm feeling the facts. One track, one time, one mind, one flip. Down with the light time. Now I gotta rap this. Ooh, I gotta get gone real. How are you doing? My name is Scout Chill. Real, only if I can't pretend to be. I gotta rap forever like I gotta be me. Immel MC that can never be me. Don't got pimples on my face cause I'm old man B. But now I gotta rap forever, I get it gone. Then I'm saying that my whole life is a song. Are you looking for a different kind of podcast? How about informative and clean? It will make you laugh. Scout and Trey, yeah, that's what we do. We got a little funny thing, keeping it true. Hey, we take your topics and all your ideas and bring in a guest and we answer them there. Then we make a freestyle rap and do it for you. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, that's what we do. Yep, flows for you, flows for you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows for you, flows for you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows for you, flows for you. This is what we do now. This is what we do. Say it flows for you, flows for you.
Switch goal. What is up? What is up? How's it going, party people?
Hello.
Hi.
I don't know why I decided to do that, Trey. Welcome.
That's your thing. That's your
To my
thing now.
house.
That's now a new thing.
Oh, yes.
What is the headline of everybody's week?
Do you have something, Trey?
No. I thought you were supposed to have something, Jason.
Yeah, I have something. Oh, I want to make sure it's not Mel's. So, Mel, do you have a headline of the week?
I do.
What is it?
But do you think we may have the same one?
Well, I can freestyle, so you do whatever you want to do, and I'm going to change it.
So mine was gonna be cops show up at 8-year-old birthday party.
Oh wow. That is phenomenal. I don't want to say one now because mine will probably be terrible.
Yeah.
Jason, you gotta go. You gotta go next, man.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see. It's gonna be, what something good.
Did I steal yours?
No, but I probably just said
You were there.
I know I could. It was my fault. What's it gonna tell you? It's gonna be Oh, come on, Jason. You got something good. Venom attacks.
Venom attacks. Okay, so my highlight is we never got our food.
Aw.
We never got our food. I went on a date. We never got our food. So we should save Mel's for last because it is the best. Jason, you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first because I'm trying to get
Okay.
some other than Venom attacks one.
It's all good. So
yeah. All right.
I went on a date with my girlfriend this weekend, and we went on a double, and it was, oh my gosh. Long story short, I had to take a lot of people around everywhere in the city because I was taking my sister to go to a wedding. She wasn't in the wedding, but she was going to it. Then I had to make sure that my other sister was getting dropped off so she could hang out with a friend. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm driving up to Cincinnati, dropping off point A, point B, and then my final destination is one of my best friend's houses. We're all meeting up there, and we're going to First Watch. So we get to first watch, and literally we get there, we order our first round of drinks because it's OJ and like whatever everybody else wants, and then we all wanted water. We didn't get water for like 6 minutes, and we're like, okay, cool. First world problems, whatever. But like that's a long time. If you're sitting down, you're like, okay, so like where are waters? We get there, and we're like, cool. So then we order our food, and we already can tell there's something wrong with our waiter. We're just like, maybe it's a bad day. I don't know what's going on. Table number 1 is sitting next to us. They get seated. Table number 2 gets seated down the ways from them. Table number 1 gets their food. Table number 2 gets their food. And we're like, what's going on? And so, I mean, no one else wanted to say anything to the waiter. And we're like, no, I'll be that guy because, you know, I pay for service. I want my food. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, I just want to know what's up. So I go over and I ask the guy, I was like, hey, bro, what's going on? He's like, about that. So your waiter sucks. He's talking in third person about himself. He says, your waiter sucks. I forgot to put in your orders. And I was like, how in the world did you forget to put in my head? I didn't say this to him. I was like, oh, okay. So then, I mean, he's like, yeah, talk to the manager. I rushed your orders so that you guys can get it. And so we all get our food eventually. And it was really good. I'm not going to lie, but we almost walked out with no food. And I know it was kind of a lame story, but that was my highlight of the week. So there you go.
So you
Jason,
did get your food. That's good.
We did get our food. I fudged the title a little bit so you guys would pay attention, you know, and all of our listeners out there, our millions of listeners.
So as everybody might know at this point, I do buy toys to sell, which is cool. But my son is a giant Spider-Man fan, and I was at a Goodwill and I found a Venom doll. That was nice. It's a 12-inch figure, pretty cool. Now the problem with this is that my son has a sister who is a 2-year-old, and so if she sees her brother smashing a Spider-Man versus another Spider-Man, she wants to then do that. And so she decides that what would be really great is if you threw a 5-pound Venom at her dad and her dad's head, because he's attacking him. And so they're having it smash the head. And this thing is not light. Now, the other thing you should know, my son has normal figures that are like little $10 Spider-Man. No, this is not a normal Venom figure. This is a Toy Biz special edition, full, like, it is
super expensive.
It is a $50 toy.
Oh, wow.
I got for $2, so I don't care.
Sure.
But it is heavy, and so my daughter, and when I tell you that she threw it at me, I'm not saying she threw it at me once. I'm not saying that she's been throwing it at me every single day for the last week, like 20 times a day.
Oh,
She's like, oh, and this girl gets an arm. So
that was supposed to be a gunshot.
Yeah,
I was like, air horn, okay, whatever. That's tough.
Yeah, so it's and I might sell it, but my son reminds me all the time. He goes, Daddy, you didn't sell the Venom today, did you? Every day I pick him up from school. I'm like, no, buddy.
You're supposed to hide those things, man.
Yeah, it was not an option because he was in the front seat, and my son, I picked him up from school after I'd done it, and so he saw it, and yeah, I lost that battle. So,
I'm sorry, man.
yeah.
I want to hear Mel's story right now because it's clearly way better than both of ours combined.
Okay. So cops show up at 8-year-old birthday party. We were having my daughter's 8th birthday party just this past Saturday. Jason was there. He was doing the hip hop. Wait, I don't want to say the website wrong. It was a hip hop
house party, right?
Yep, hiphopouseparty.com.
That's how we met, because I had him come out to my kid's birthday party. It was amazing. And all of a sudden, knock at my door. I assume it's arriving. Come to the door, and there are 2 police officers at the door and at least 3 cop cars in front of my house. And I was like, what happened? And they said they were responding to a 911 call. And I was shocked. I was like, somebody, like, are we too loud? This is like 5 p.m. on a Saturday. It's a kid's party. I have been known to throw a rager or two, but this one was not the craziest one. So I was like, "What are the cops doing here?" And I said, "What do you mean?" So 911 call, like, what did they say? Like, everything's like, you can come and look around. Everything's pretty chill. And they were like, "Well, no one said anything. We just heard screaming in the background." So I was like, "Oh, maybe it was like a butt dial. Like, who's the idiot who accidentally called the police? Couldn't have been me." And then I looked at my phone and was like, "It's me. I dialed 911 at my own party." I was on the phone with them for just over a minute. And then I guess, like, I don't know, like my bump, I'm pregnant. My bump, because I was wearing like overalls, like hung up. And so they were just concerned because they heard like screaming, but it was the children.
Oh my
screaming.
gosh.
And so I felt horrible. You do not recommend accidentally calling 911. It was a terrible move, but it was not the worst experience because they were so nice. It was these two women cops, and they were just like so sweet. They carried my packages inside because they were like, "Oh, you have packages."
Gosh.
And then one of them reached into their wallet and pulled out like a sticker, like an Austin Police Department sticker and tattoo to give to the birthday girl. And they're like, we would give you guys more if we had enough for the whole party, but like you have a lot of kids here. And so they were really, really nice. And I just had to like profusely apologize to them. And it was so funny because the guests were like, "The cops are here." Like everyone who noticed them was like, "What happened?" And I had to explain I accidentally butt dialed 911. And I felt so terrible. But like now I think it'll be a great story. My kid can be like, "Yeah, my parties, cops show up." And she's,
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
it was wild. They were so nice, and I'm so grateful for them not giving me a hard time because I really felt terrible to waste their time like that.
So it's funny because I didn't even know this happened.
Yeah,
So I go outside to grab a mouse or something, or like grab something from my computer. Somebody's like, "So has anybody ever called the cops on you before?" I was like, "No, what are you talking about?"
I was like, "Is this the wildest party or what?" We got police showing up. I felt terrible.
So Jaime's coming and he can't believe your story. He says, "No way, Mel." He says, so sorry, Mel. And then he's asking, "What's that bing?" I don't know if he's referring to the head.
Is that your phone, Mel? That's going
Not
off?
mine. It's not mine. Oh, it might be my laptop though. Ooh, ugh. Let me quit my notifications.
She's getting all these messages.
I just now realized where I know Mel from. You were at ACL.
Yes.
Oh yes, you were.
I was the beatboxer.
Nice. Wait,
I
you
was like,
remember that.
Yeah. So I'm like,
cool.
There's no way. I'm like, I know your face from somewhere. Now it all makes sense. And then everything's right with the world.
Yes,
so.
that we've come full circle because that's how I found out about Hip Hop Party and like reached out and got that police rated birthday party booked with you guys. So, okay, that makes sense now.
That is so awesome. Welcome to the show. That's so crazy.
And Trey lives in Kentucky, so he just can't bring him down for every birthday party.
No.
Okay.
I wish.
The tray pricing would be like, "Would you like a tray upgrade? It's gonna be plus $600."
Yeah, the plane ticket.
I'm silencing my laptop. All right.
No, you're fine. I appreciate it.
No more. Sorry about that.
All right, Jason, are you ready to queue up?
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, I missed the headlines of the week, Trey.
It's all good. Just keep going. Because this is my favorite part of the show, and it is time for a quiz. All right, cool. So in this quiz, this is a random facts of life quiz. It is multiple choice, and some are true or false. It is against Jason and Mel. You guys will both get equal opportunity to answer any and all questions. Whoever has the most at the end of this quiz wins. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Jason's not because he didn't respond. Phenomenal. This is
I
perfect.
win.
Exactly. Mel, you immediately win. Yes. So, Mel, since you're our guest, you get first choice and first action at the question. So, how many keys are on a keyboard? Is it A, 80, B, 98, or C, 104?
A C? 104.
Okay. Jason, same question. 80, 98, or 104?
80.
Okay. Well, Mel was correct because it's 104 keys. So congratulations. The actual 104 is only an American standard. The 105 keys is apparently an overseas standard. So random fun fact of the day. Probably didn't care, but that's okay. Jason, you're up next. How many pounds of skin does the average human shed in their lifetime? Is it A? Yeah. Is it A 30, B 40, or C 50?
40.
Okay. Mel, same question. How many pounds of skin does an average human shed in their lifetime? Is it 30, 40, or 50?
I'm gonna go with 50.
Ooh. So wait, which one did you say, Jason?
40.
He said 40.
That is actually the correct answer. It's 40. It's 40
Eat it
pounds of
now!
skin in their lifetime. And that's super gross because that's why your mattress is way heavier when you get rid of them than you do when you purchase them. I wish I could speak English today. Is that not disgusting?
This is makes me never want to have a used mattress ever. Not
Ever
This is why
again?
people don't get used mattresses.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I ever have had one, but I'm certainly never going to. That is crazy gross.
Yeah, that is gross. So anyway, moving on. Mel, you get the first crack at the next question. The total weight of all ants on the earth. This is true or false, by the way. The total weight of all ants on the earth is greater than the total weight of all humans on the earth. True or false?
Oh, Lord.
It feels false, but I'm not very confident. False.
Okay,
True.
Jason.
True.
True. Okay, Jason.
True.
False.
It's actually true. Mel's correct.
Oh!
So there are more ants on the earth in total weight than there are humans on the earth. Is that not buck wild? Because ants weigh what? A fraction of a I don't know, a pound. Like I can't. I'm terrible with metrics. They're obviously like way less than a pound. But that's buck wild. Okay. What is that?
That is he needs to get back on, but he might pop up again.
Jaime?
That's Jaime working on something.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, moving on. Jason, there is a basketball court above the Supreme Court, and it's known as the highest court in the land. True or false?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Please let that be true.
I don't know. That's up to you.
Yeah,
Is that your answer? True?
Yes.
Mel, same question. There's a basketball court above the Supreme Court.
Oh, I should know this.
Why?
I think that's false. Well, because I lived in Washington D.C. and I toured it, and like I feel like that's.
You went and played basketball on the court?
I did not, which is why I'm going to go with false.
Okay, it's actually true. There is a basketball court above the Supreme Court, and it's called the highest court in the land. I didn't know that, but I found that out today.
Okay.
Yeah, feel free to look it up. Yeah, feel free to look it up. It's a crazy thing.
I can't say that. Octotellipical?
Octoleptical?
Says true. So they actually, no, they said that.
There can be a terrace.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
And this is for the mansion and the yacht. I hope you guys are ready. This is actually kind of weird.
I'm ready.
So Mel, you get first crack. More than 2,500 left-handed people are killed every year from using equipment meant for right-handed people. True or false?
Oh, that's so sad. True.
Okay, Jason, same question.
Well, because I'm left-handed, I'm going to say false. Because I don't want that to be true.
It's true. Correct. Congratulations, Mel. You win our quiz today. We're trying to develop some sort of NFT that we can give to people and they can make millions of dollars with it later in life. But we have not reached that point. But you get at least 5 of those down the road.
Wonderful.
So congratulations. You win the quiz. I hope you feel really good about yourself because those were all random and no one can prepare you for that stuff.
No, that was awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Phenomenal. Jason, why is Mel on our show today?
Well, when I asked Mel a questionnaire and asked her what could I do for a better year, she said, dream big, and when the chance comes, take it. Why, Mel? Do we need to take chances and dream big for a better year?
So personally, I have a little late in life discovered that certain opportunities only kind of come around once in a while, and no matter how absolutely terrified you may be, and when these moments come, you just got to kind of go for them because it sounds so cliche, but really amazing things happen just outside of your comfort zone, and like right when you feel like there's no way I can do something, but you do it anyway and you take that chance, like really cool stuff can happen. And I know that from personal experience recently. So that's pretty much the energy I'm bringing into this year.
It's funny because it's like when you're younger, you actually don't think about things. You just kind of do them, and so you don't really consider it. When you're older, you start questioning yourself. But then when you get a little bit older, then you go, I don't care anymore. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm just going to do it.
That is so spot on. Yeah.
Trey's in that he just figured out that people care, and so he's kind of like in that spot where he's like, oh man. But he'll get in the older spot where he's like, oh, I can do anything, change the world.
I thought that was reversed, but we're gonna go with it.
Oh no, it kind of does like a circle, like so it goes. You could take over the world, and then you kind of realize that nobody listens to you, and then you don't care anymore. So it just kind of has this.
That makes sense. I think
a roller coaster.
I would agree with that because when you get older, like for older people, for example, like we're talking 70, 80 people, 80-year-old people, they don't care. No, they don't care. Like it's like I've lived my life. I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want because no one's gonna do anything because I'm an old person, or should I say, seasoned person. Jaime is saying take chances and dream big in life so DCU can get their stuff together. And for those who don't know what he's talking about the DC cinematic universe because everything's flopping right now with the Black Adam and Superman and all that stuff. It's very sad. And then he's asking you to say what you just said again, Mel.
Which one? Which thing?
It'll be fine. We're gonna. Luckily for us, your story is this comment, so it will answer the question for Jaime. So, yeah. So why is, and I know your story. I know this is why you're on the show, but most of these people don't. Why is it that what is this thing that happened that made you realize that you should dream big? First off, what is it that you did before you transitioned to what you're doing, what you're going to tell us about?
So I jumped around a little bit. I was a teacher for 7-8 years.
Kudos to you.
Thank you. It was crazy. And then I moved into working in the tech world. I was at a tech job for about 4 years here in Austin. And then, should I say what happened?
Sure, yeah.
This was
so you decided to quit your job, right? Before this happened?
Well, not yet. So here's what happened. I was still working at my tech job, but one of the things I had always kind of thought about doing and never took the leap to do was stand-up comedy. I've just kind of I've always been a fan of so much stand-up comedy. I've always been told man, you'd be really good at stand-up. And it was just something that was in the back of my head is well, I'm never actually going to do it, but how cool would that be? I was at a Joe Rogan show here at Vulcan Gas Company in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
I was at his show and it was just an incredible show. So many great comics opened for him. He did a 2-hour set. It was awesome. Wow. And at the very end, he did a Q&A, which was awesome and completely unexpected. I actually had seen his show before. This was I think my second time watching the exact same show. That's how much I loved it that I went back with a new set of friends to see it again. And this time he did a Q&A, which I didn't expect because he didn't do that the first time that I was on the show. And so I was I need to ask Joe Rogan a question. He was just taking questions from the audience about all kinds of different things. And I thought this is my moment to have a dialogue with him, even if it's a question.
Oh,
and
sure.
The thing that came to my head, because I've always been such a stand-up fan, was to ask him a question about getting into stand-up comedy. So I think I asked him, what advice would you give to somebody who's interested in starting stand-up with no experience? So he was like, do you think you're funny? I should preface all of this with, I had a lot of tequila.
Hey, what shit get signed? You stand up comedy.
I was feeling very funny, and I was very confident in that moment. And I said, oh, I'm hilarious. Absolutely. Without having a clue that the next thing he was going to do was invite me to get on.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah. He was like, okay, so if you're funny and you want to know what you have to do is you need to get on stage and you need to bomb. You just need to just do it. And so he was like, do you want to get on stage right now? And at first I said no, but I was with a bunch of friends who were like, Mel, like go, go, go. And, you know, I had all the tequila confidence. So I stumbled up to the stage.
We're going to get this.
You heard my set. You were there.
Oh no.
I barely remember what I even said. I know that it wasn't great because it was completely improvised, and like I did not, even though I had always wanted to try stand up, I didn't plan any jokes. I did say a couple things at first that got everyone laughing. I think I even roasted poor Joe Rogan a little bit. Yeah, I said,
the man, the myth, the legend.
I'm surprised to be here, and I'm also surprised that I'm taller than Joe Rogan.
Oh my gosh! No way! That's fire.
I mean, he may be like my height. I don't know, but I was in a state of shock. I don't know what was coming out of my mouth, and so I'm roasting this poor guy who's been giving me this nice opportunity, and it was funny, but eventually, like he advised me to do, I completely bombed. Like I didn't know what was going on. So it was more funny that I got up there, like this drunk girl got up on stage and tried to be funny, and it failed. It was hilarious because of that, not because I actually like did a great job or anything. But after everyone laughed, like I actually was there with a bunch of like my colleagues from work, and we just had such a good laugh about like, can you believe that happened? Like you got on stage, like I gave him a hug. It was so cool. But then like I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, that was so embarrassing. I made a fool of myself. I got an opportunity to get on stage and I did not have anything prepared. That like was something I couldn't let my comedy career end on that note. So I bought tickets to the same show. This was my third time going to the show now. And I tried to get tickets to sit in like the same spot, kind of, so that I could have the same opportunity. I sat through the whole show again. It was amazing again. And I was like, please do Q&A, please do Q&A. So he did the Q&A again. And I sat in the same spot. I raised my hand. I almost didn't do it. My husband was next to me and he was like, go, are you going to do it? Because this time I prepared like a minute or two of jokes. And I was like,
wow.
I'm going to actually do really well. But and then a part of me, it's funny because when you're so close to something happening, a part of me was like, I hope he doesn't do Q&A. Like I didn't want to have the opportunity because I didn't want to have to go through with it because I knew I would have to do it. And then he did do the Q&A and I looked over at my husband and I was like, I can't, like, I'm not going to do it. And he started like screaming. He's like, I will raise your hand for you. Like, you need to go. Like, you have good stuff prepared. Like, go. And I was like, fine. And I did it. I raised my hand. He looked at me and I feel like he could recognize, I looked familiar, but I don't know if he right away recognized me, but I asked the exact same question. And I was like, what advice do you have for somebody who would want to try stand up? And I think that like made him go, oh, this is that girl. This was 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later. So it had to have been fresh in his mind. I knew I had to like strike while the iron was hot and like go ASAP so that he could remember me. And he did. He remembered me. He was like, he was like, are you ready? Like, do you want to come up here right now?
No way.
So I was like, yes. And so I went up there.
So awesome.
I had notes in my hand. I went up there. I blacked out. Like I barely remember. This time I was sober. So I blacked out because of adrenaline.
Take care of those things.
And I did a good job. I went through my whole set. I didn't even look at my notes, even though I was holding them in my hand. It was really funny, and I had a bunch of friends there, and like it was really fun. Afterwards, he was like, that was amazing. I had people coming up to me after the show, like taking photos with me and telling me how cool that was.
Wow!
Yeah.
No, congratulations.
Thanks. It was really fun. It was like, it gave me this moment. It made me feel like, oh my gosh, like I redeemed myself for the accident of the first night. But then, so after that,
like, how did you feel? How did you feel? Like, did you feel like you were successful at that point? Just feel
I
like,
feel really, really proud of myself because I was this close to not doing it, even though I had.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I just kept thinking like, oh, what if I would have chickened out? I would have never known how cool that felt, and I would have never felt that
Right.
feeling of like redemption. And I did it, and like that was great. And so I just felt really proud of myself, and I was really excited to be able to like share the story with all the people who were there the first time. Who
yeah,
saw me bomb. I was like, I did it again, and this time it was good. And they were like, no way. So it was a really fun story.
that's
Um,
fun. You know,
yeah.
it's just like a month ago or 2 months ago, this hip hop freestyle comedy show came through, um, and I knew at the end they'd ask questions and they'd do a song for you, and so I was ready to go. I waited to the end. They asked, "Hey, so tell us about your story, about your day, and we're gonna make a song about it." And I didn't tell them my actual story because I was afraid. So I didn't tell them that I spent all day making TikTok freestyle raps. Instead, I told them I'd spent my day chasing my kid around the house because I
Oh,
was just afraid that they would be like, "Oh, well, that's amazing. You should come up and do it." Even though that's the
yeah.
whole point of it. But
Yeah.
I not like you, chickened out. And then they were like, "Yeah, that's not very funny. We're gonna go to the next person."
Oh,
And I just
no.
sat there going,
Jeez.
all I had to do was say what I actually
Jason,
did
stop
today.
being a coward.
Oh, so no, I hear your story and I just think, dang it, I was so close to do. I think it was in May
You gotta
too,
do
which is
it.
funny. But
Before we move on, I'm going to get to the comments really quickly. Jaime's coming in saying, I've been in IT for 17, 18 years, currently in training to transition into cybersecurity this year and upgrade my pay into big numbers. We was talking about in reference to earlier switching careers. And then he said, I feel you, Mel. I'm making a big career change this year and already prepping is what it says on there for the failures. I know I'm going to have to fail minimally. Anyway, to be the regular great guy that I usually am. And I think that's what he's trying to say. And he says, "You rock, Mel."
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
and if that
Yeah,
was the
I
end of
feel
the
really
story,
excited
that'd
about
be
it.
good, right, Mel?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a cool story that I would have like told forever. And it could have ended there, and it could have been still like an awesome thing to share.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So what happens now, Mel?
So I after this, I mean, I can't stop thinking about stand-up comedy now, and like I start writing more, and I'm still working at my job, but I'm not happy there. And that's a whole nother story. I end up quitting my job, and a part of me was quitting my job and thinking like, okay, for the next step, should I do stand-up comedy? As a matter of fact, I even when I announced to my coworkers that I was leaving, I even made a joke where I was like, guys, I'm quitting because I'm pursuing my dream for stand-up comedy. But like I made it like a joke, even though in the back of my head I was like, I kind of am. Like I wasn't why I was again, I was unhappy there, and that's a whole nother story. But one of the things that I was thinking and that gave me, I think, the like bravery to just go ahead and quit that job was because I was so excited about potentially doing something like this, that like stand-up comedy. So this happens and I quit the job, but I don't have the guts to actually get on stage again. I'm writing jokes and I'm thinking about it, and I'm obsessively like listening to other comedians and following their stories and like doing like all the research, but not doing the actual part that is important, which is to actually get on stage, even like an open mic. Like I couldn't find the courage to do it, even though I, for some reason, was able to do it in front of one of the arguably most famous comedians on earth, but I could not do it like otherwise.
Yeah.
So
Instead of in
a
front of a
little bit
lot
of
of
time.
not famous comedians is
Yeah,
what my
I couldn't.
case.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like I was writing and I was obsessing over it and thinking about it. And then what gave me a push is that I wake up one morning and I have a text message from a girlfriend, and she's sending me a link to Joe Rogan's podcast. And it's just an episode, and I'm a big fan of his podcast. So I thought maybe she was just like, hey, check out this episode. I know you like Joe Rogan. So I was like, oh, hey, like, what's this? And she says, scroll to, I forgot the timestamp. I think it was pretty early on, like 15 minutes or something. She's like, scroll to this. Joe Rogan talks about you. And I was like, what?
That's so buck wild.
And she was at the first time. So she knows the whole story of everything that happened. So he doesn't say my name, but she's like, this is about you. I know it's about you. So I listened to it. And then there he is. Joe Rogan tells his audience of like millions of people would happen. And
Oh,
his
speaking of DC, he's actually talking to Zach Levi, so he's talking to Shazam at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah, he is. He's talking to Zachary Levi.
Oh wow.
Yes, and so he is
About Mel.
about me. They're talking about me. They're just taking it in the studio, talking about me. So I'm freaking out. The context of the conversation was that they were just talking about funny people in life. And Zachary Levi is he's an actor in the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is an Amazon Prime series about a female comedian who, like, not unsimilarly to me, literally stumbles drunk on a stage one day and accidentally discovers that she's good at stand-up comedy. And it follows her whole journey. And so they're talking about him being on that show. And then Joe says, I feel like people like her really exist. People say that
Oh my gosh.
thing. People say that's an unrealistic thing for there to be somebody who is just, that funny and they could just get up on stage and like kill it. But like there's this girl who is at Vulcan Gas Company, and he tells everyone the whole story. He says she asked a question during Q&A. She got up on stage and she was drunk, and like she didn't do great, but it was still funny that she did it. And then 2 weeks later, she came back and she had notes and she crushed it. And then he just like sang my praises. And I'm listening. I had to keep pausing it. I remember I woke up my husband and was like, listen to this. And I just start playing it. And he's like, what? Like, Joe Rogan, why are you in the morning? Like, really? And I'm like, listen. And he starts listening. And then he sits up and he's like, that's you. And I was like, I know. And we're freaking out because he says some incredible compliments. Like he says that I'm like a real Mrs. Maisel. He says that if I worked at it, he knows that I could 100% be a professional comic.
Wow.
He said I was hilarious. And so he said all these things that I have major imposter syndrome, and that things that I really like felt like I wish were true and I think could be true, but I like to hear it from someone like him made me go, okay, I need to get my ass on a stage. Sorry, my body on a stage. And I need to like do something about this. Like if I have this guy on his podcast saying that if I tried, I could 100% be a professional comedian, and I don't do it, like I'm a total idiot and I will regret this for the rest of my life. So that was the kick in the butt that I needed. And so I shared that podcast and video around, like shared it with friends. I was like, he's talking about me, you guys. And then one of a friend, my husband's best friend, one of my close friends happened to have a show in Austin in 2 days. He's a musician. He said, do you want to open for me with comedy? And I was like, what? And it was in 2 days. So I was like, he's like, how much material do you have? And I was like, I don't know, but I'll try. And I somehow within 2 days got a whole 10-minute set done.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of it in those 2 days, but also like, again, I had been writing because I was just like, I was scared to get on stage, but I had been doing all the writing. And after hearing that, him talk about me, I was like, I have to do this. So 2 days later, I got on stage and I did 10 minutes, and I gotta say, it wasn't bad for being a beginner, for being my first real like show. It was great. And I had, again, a lot of people come up afterwards and compliment me and, really just give me the confidence that I needed to like actually keep it going. Because that was probably the scariest part, was like that first like dive into it. I was full of excuses and, oh, but I'm a mom and there's so much competition and I don't have time. Like there's just always something in my way. And then after I just finally took that big dive and I said, like, I got to do it. It's been really great so far. And so like, I've been doing a lot of writing, doing shows when I can. And it's been like, honestly, one of the most fun and exciting things possible.
That's so freaking amazing. Like, I can only imagine. And how big of a fan are you of Joe Rogan?
Huge, big fan. I've been a fan of his since like, I don't even know, like so long, like over a decade. I've seen every special. I've listened to so many podcasts. I was a big fan. So that made it like extra special.
He's easily one of your favorite performers. He's easily one of your favorite comedians, favorite podcasters. Quite frankly, when I found out about him, I mean, like I was like, oh, it's Joe Rogan, cool. And then I just listened to some of the shows. I was like, wow, this is like amazing. like, because he has literally everybody on the show and are talking for hours on end. And I've only seen the YouTube clips where they talk about the meaningful things that stand out, but his show's amazing anyway. But the fact that you got talked about on his show is like one of your idols talking about you. It's like, and sure, he didn't mention you by name, but the fact that he's talking about you, that seals the deal.
Totally. And it was nice because then I knew it was about me. So I was just like, oh, he didn't even need to say my name, you know, and like for it to be enough to inspire me and to make me go like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. I have to go after this. I really, as a big fan, and someone who like, I mean, it was shocking and like just it couldn't have been a bigger motivator.
That's so super cool. It's so crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
When you start your YouTube stuff up, you got to get that clip somehow.
I know, right? So I know that it exists. I know that there is footage of the show. The second time I got on stage when I actually did good, I know that there actually is footage. I've gone back to the club, the same place, Vulcan Gas Company. I've gone back a few times, and I actually met someone who was like, "Oh, I was working the cameras that day, so I've seen the video." And I was like, "Oh, so the video exists?" I was like, "How can I get my hands on it?" And she was like, "You can't, because they're not allowed. People are not allowed to film."
Course.
It's one of those situations where everyone has to put their phones away in like those little locked bags and everything. So I've been asked, like, do you have footage of the time you got on stage with him? And I'm like, no, you have to take my word for it. I promise that it happened. And I have a lot of witnesses, but I would love to get my hands on the footage. I don't even remember it so well now. The adrenaline just really makes you like black out and you're like, oh, I don't know. But that would be really fun. I do need to get better about online content. So there's a lot of things here that I have to work on.
Yeah, that's the hard part about following your dream. It's like a lot of people, when they start doing anything, music or anything, they've had tons of failures before they ever had success. And your issue is that you had success, and now you have to now you have to realize that you're going to fail a lot to get back to and that's okay, because it's like I said, as I was telling you at the party, is that I had a friend who was a stand-up comedian, and we'd have to go to an open mic at least once a week, hopefully twice a week, just so he could write his material. So he'd write it, and because that's how you know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Totally.
And it's funny because, like, you know, I like my comedians, and so you'll see them when they're building for a TV special. If you see them twice that year, you'll know that it's the same stuff. They're just trying to see if it's going to work for the thing.
Yeah.
But after the TV special, then you know to go again because it's going to be new stuff, because he's writing new stuff as he goes.
That's right.
That's the craziest part about being a comedian, is that you're literally in front of people failing all the time on purpose.
It's true. It's like the only way to really test any jokes. Like you can't, you know, if you're making music, you gotta, like, some people have to hear it. If you're telling jokes, like you just see people are laughing. Like there's no way to get better at it without failing in comedy, because how are you gonna know? Like what's funny to me by myself in my bedroom is not gonna be, you know, it's not, it may or may not land in front of an audience. And so you need to put yourself out there and not be afraid to bomb, which is essentially the advice that he gave me when I asked him. That was the advice. He said, get on stage and bomb. And that's how you learn, and that's how you get better at it. And I think that's the same is true outside of comedy, like in life. Like go out there and try it, and you may fail and you may bomb, and then that's going to inform your next move. But not doing anything is the biggest failure, and not going for it is the worst thing that can happen, because then you're just like, you're never going to know if you would have been rapping that day with them if you would have been honest about your skills. The sun is setting, y'all, so sorry if I'm starting to get harder to see.
No, you're fine.
You're fine.
Studio like you guys, so it's a little dim out here.
No, you're fine.
And that show is Hip Hop Love Supreme, so it is a Broadway show that Lin-Manuel Miranda put together.
Ooh.
So yeah, no, it was all kinds of fails on my end.
No,
it was awesome, and I decided to go that day. So I had a great story of what actually happened, but I didn't tell them any of that. I didn't say, "Oh, I just bought tickets today and just got this front row seat on accident," and and I talked to my friend who's a rocket scientist and coming with me, who's standing right here. Oh, and I spent my whole morning just making freestyle raps as my daughter punched me in the face on TikTok. And this is what actually happened. But instead, I'm going, well, I'm just chasing my daughter and her diaper fell. Ha ha ha. I was like, you idiot! You were so freaked out. So,
Oh.
but,
I would love for your daughter to just, that's her catchphrase or that's her thing. When you try to catch her, she just turns around and then just runs off. Just you're like, what? What?
That's my life. Just punched this little girl who she had a ponytail today, just punching me. I'm like, dude.
Mel, so
I
like
love
I heard you when you said some of your jokes, like the jokes that might land somewhere else might not land in other areas. I've seen that a lot with comedians that literally will go to different states and different like countries even, and quite frankly, like Gabriel Iglesias, he's one of my favorite comedians, and he went overseas to the Middle East, and he saw a crowd of people in hijabs and full just like even covered, because I don't think the women can come out without being completely covered. And it was just such a culture shocking experience for him. And he tried to do some of his sets and some things just didn't land. And there's hundreds of people and he's just like, and we're going to move on to the next joke. Like, just you tell one of your famous jokes and then you just get like a sea of crickets going on. And you're like, all right, cool. We're going to move on now. So have you had an experience like that so far, or what has been the scariest experience other than getting up in front of Joe Rogan?
I've definitely said things that afterwards I'm like rewatching the video and I'm like, the audience didn't think that was as funny as I thought it was when I was writing it. Definitely. I think as far as like the scariest thing, so I was there's this show called Kill Tony, and it's filmed here in Austin, actually at the same place where Joe Rogan was doing his stand-up. And it's kind of like a raffle to get on stage. It's a really popular comedy show. So they get dozens of comedians drop their name in a bucket.
Wow.
Tony Hinchcliffe is the host, one of the funniest men on the planet, in my opinion. He will pull names out of a bucket, and if you get pulled up, you get a minute to talk, to say jokes. And that part is not, in my opinion, not the hardest part, because if you can prepare for your minute. I actually got pulled and I went up and got to do a minute of stand-up on his show. But afterwards, they interview you. And if you're not good, they'll roast you.
Oh my God.
So that part, like, you cannot prepare for that. Because I've actually been on the show twice now. And because I just like go every week and draw my name in, and I've gotten pulled twice, but
That's
can't
awesome.
prepare for that. You've got your minute and you've got that set and you're like, okay, 1 minute done. But then afterwards they can ask you anything. And like, you have to improvise. It's full improv. And that was probably the scariest thing ever, because this was like there was so many people were going to see this. And this is also another person who I'm like a humongous fan of, Tony Hinchcliffe. So I was like, I can't mess up in front of him. And like going off the cuff in conversation with some extremely hilarious people is absolutely terrifying. And both times that I've done it, I get off stage and I can't remember what just happened. I literally have blacked out. Like the adrenaline has just been so nuts that I'm like, was I funny? What happened? I'm pretty sure they made fun of me.
Where am I?
Where am I? And then it was funny. I remember so when it happens, it's filmed, and then 2 weeks later, it's 2 weeks before the actual show airs on YouTube. And so in those 2 weeks between when I was on stage and when it aired and I got to watch it back, I was remembering everything in pieces. Like I would be like, oh, I just remembered something I said on stage, and it was like coming to me in like bits as the, I guess, adrenaline wore off. It's probably also because I'm 7 months pregnant, by the way, guys. This entire journey happened pregnant, which makes everything a lot crazier. Thank you. So I'm like a combination of just like nerves and adrenaline and like pregnancy brain, which makes you forget things all the time anyway. It makes you accidentally call 911 and weird things.
Oh gosh.
And so it'll like come to me in pieces, and I'm like telling my family like, oh God, I think I said this on stage. Like this isn't gonna go well when I see it live. But yeah, that whole thing was extremely scary too, not being able to prepare for, just like an off the cuff conversation with really famous, funny people. That's terrifying. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, no, I think so. Like I'm not a comedian, so I would have no idea. And I just know from what other comedians have said on stage or on another podcast from what kind of their hardest moments were. And that's what kind of got them going, is because they bombed and they kept bombing. And then all of a sudden they started picking up.
Yeah.
So.
I've never done a show that I didn't almost back out of. Like,
Wow.
not one. I don't think I've ever been like, all right, this is gonna be great. We're gonna do this, and I go in and I'm like, because I'm also I am by no means an expert or really good at this. I know a lot of comedians here in Austin who are just working so hard and are doing shows every single night and are crushing it. I'm not there yet. I'm 7 months pregnant and this is my third child. And I know it sounds like an excuse. No, it is an excuse. I need to stop having excuses and I need to get out there more. But with what I have done I don't know if there has to be a certain number of shows that I do before I stop doing this to myself, but I'm still in that phase where every single time I'm about to get on stage, I think like, is there an excuse I can come up with? Like, do I really have to do this?
Oh no, I'm sick. I can't do it. Oh gosh.
I can't. But it's like, I actually have in my kid's bathroom, there's like in the tub, it's like a corny like quote thing. And it says, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Wow.
And it's like in my kid's bathtub. And so I'm just like, if I cannot take the advice that I'm giving to my children, like what kind of example am I setting? I was getting ready for a show one day and my daughter's in there like watching me get my hair and makeup done. She's chatting with me about the show. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm terrified. I don't want to do this. Like I'm asking my at the time 7-year-old for advice. I'm like, what do you think? And then she was like, Mom, you always tell me like when you're scared, that's the only way you can be brave. And I'm like, okay, you're right. But I have to get talked into it. It's true story. And I had to get talked into it every time. And my kids are a really big inspiration because I do tell them that all the time. And it's literally on their bathroom tile. So I have to remember that like, that's something that I got to like push through every time because
I wish I could tell you that
things.
I wish I could tell you it gets better. It doesn't. I've been performing for 20 years, and anytime I get to that next part, I'm totally freaking out. Like there have been times where I had like a meeting with like a Grammy nominated person and I'm like, all right, well, I sent them a song. They're going to hate it. And then they're like, it's amazing. It's like, you should know you're good at this. You've been doing this for 20 years. Like, why are you so freaked out that it's not going to work out? But like, even anytime I go do something, I'm like, even at a birthday party, like at your house, I still think, what if I mess up? Like the kids don't care. They don't even care what I say. But it's like, great. I get so worried, like, oh, what happens if something's not going to work? But then I go, well, I'm already here and I'm getting paid for it, so I should keep going. And that's how I always do it. Like, I wish you just become super confident. When you're super confident, that's when you should be worried.
I agree.
Like, I'm ready to do this, and then you just like, I mean, Trey's learned that lesson. We've all learned that lesson. Like, you're like, there's no way I'm gonna mess this up, and then first thing you do.
There has to be a healthy amount of. I guess like skepticism.
Jaime's coming in. Yeah, he says, I disagree, Mel. I feel like it does get better. So
well, good. I mean, I hope that it gets better. I don't want to be selling out an arena trying to back out before I can.
But here's the thing, even if that happens, you're still gonna get up on stage. So
yeah, exactly. But I do think that there is a healthy amount of like having, as soon as you feel just complacent and overconfident and like you're not trying to better yourself, then I think that's a problem. So I think as long as I always have that hunger to improve, I think I'll be okay. But I'm not there. I'm still like freaking out every single time that I do anything. The imposter syndrome is real with me anyway.
Well, there you go. Well, now it's time for us to make up a song about everything we just talked about today.
Yay! I'm excited.
And so now, Trey, I'm going to start the beatbox and Trey's going to do the freestyle rap. So I'm really excited about this part of the show. What's wrong, Trey?
Nothing. You ready? I'm concerned about... I'm just kidding.
That'd be hilarious if I just made you do it. At that point, just...
as long as I'm not doing it, y'all are going to do just fine.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm gonna rap and Jason's gonna freestyle. So here's the thing. What we do need from our audience members though is a whole bunch of words that you want from Jason to say in the rap. And Mel, is Mel gonna give you some words?
Mel, are you gonna give me some words?
I want you to say the word laugh. I want you to say the word dream.
Okay.
And I want you to say the word rubber duck.
Okay.
Why not?
Laugh, Dream, and Rubber Duck.
I can remember
And
those.
like I
The
said,
rest, Trey, you just pop up on the screen and I'll use them.
we'll do. Everybody else just throw a whole bunch of words in there, preferably one at a time, not a paragraph. We've had people do that before.
CJ.
And right before we go, Jaime saying I've developed my process so it works for me instead of against me. I truly think as performers of any kind, we can get there. And then Dustin's coming in. What's up, Dustin? He is my roommate. He's literally one room away from me right now. And he says, checketh thine ego. He's talking to me and Jason, of course. And he says one of the words he wants to use is purple. All right, sweet. Let's get it. Mel, do you want to be called Mel? Is it Safi?
Safi.
Safi. Cool. I didn't want to butcher it. And I already did anyway. It's okay. Mel Safi, do you have a stage name? Do you want a stage name? Do you want to just be called Mel Safi?
Yeah, Mel Safi. My actual name is Melissa Safi, so Mel Safi is like what I go by.
That's a dope name, by the way. I feel like when you make it big one day, Mel Safi will really hit. I feel that would be dope.
Thank you.
I've already forgotten the words, Mel. It was
Laugh, Dream, and Rubber Duck.
Don't ask me why.
Thanks. You're fine. Thanks.
All right, sweet. Let's get it, Jason. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Yo, 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 we got DJ Sound Effects, Scout the Psalmist, and Mel Safi on the mic. Let's get
Here's a little story about a lady bee. Her name is Mel Safi. She's like, hey, one day she just went into a comedy show. She was chilling out. She didn't even know. She reminded when she was with her rubber ducky, like, I could be a comedian. I know I am funny, only if I can't pretend it. It's all the same. And she had a sign on the door that said, hey, you could do this today. So there she is at the comedy show like this and never. She's like, I know. She asked a question and she's like, hey, bro, can I be in comedy? He's like, yes, yo. Get up on the stage and she starts to go. But she's pretty darn plastered, so she's like, I don't know what I'm even saying if I'm feeling for the flow, but she gets it like forever. She's thinking, I don't know, yo, but she keeps streaming and she doesn't care what she gotta do. Then she bombs right there and goes home. It's like, oh, I gotta keep on doing this. I'm out of control. And I bet she had a purple shirt on at one point, only if I couldn't say it back. One point. Now I gotta say that it's better if it should go. Now you gotta live that dream and let them know. So then she wrote a little thing together, went to another show, and she was like, whatever, I don't really want to do this, but I will, only if I gotta break it down with the skills. Then she asked another question, the same one. He looks back, it's Joe Rogan. He's like, come back, in fact. So she went on stage and she killed it this time. She did not care, she could never feel it mine. And Captain Marvel is listening on a podcast about her, how she's amazing and she can't fact. And now she get it, because it's never gonna be the same. Exhale, breathe, and she's gotta run away. Hey, and now she's being talked about on the biggest podcast in the world. That's pretty amazing, girl. Only if you can't take it dough. But now I'm looking back because I don't even really know what I'm gonna say to flow. Looking for a little time, I chilling out loud. I got to say live. Only if it's gonna be something I gotta jive. Then you're looking back at like purple I never see. I'm wearing squirrels, looking around, chasing after guts, and I'm wondering how, when and where must I stare in my underwear, unaware of everything that makes me clear. Now I gotta say that I hit the microphone today. I gotta take it back and back this way. Now she's doing comedy on her own. Not afraid to break the zone. Now she get it all. That's Mel. She gotta go. But now I forgot the third word. What was it, Mel? Oh, I don't even remember what it was. Do you remember? I never break it like was.
Dream.
Dream. I already said that one. I never go. And we did
Laughed.
Rubber Ducky. What was the other one? Oh, yes. That's what people did when they heard her talk. They all laughed and they went on slot. Lyrically, they got those things that they got. And then they're like, oh, ha, 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 ha. I guess that's it. The story is silly. I'm sorry I did that. Only if I'm really. And Trey, I'm glad that you're still beatboxing because you messed up. Only if I am talking, yelling out loud like I got a brown cow. Now I gotta say right now. And I'm done.
Good stuff. I hope you enjoyed that. That was all for you.
That was so fun. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
So cool.
I'm so glad we got to talk to you today.
Thank you guys. I'm honored that you invited me. I really appreciate it. This was super fun. You guys are great. I'm a big fan.
Wow, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, this is the time where you get to actually plug anything you want. So please tell people how to find you, how they can book you for $1 million festivals and whatnot.
I love that.
You're going to make it big one day, and I want people to know that you were here first.
Yes, exactly. I think that's going to be amazing one day when I'm on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
talking about being on your podcast.
You know, Joe, this is not my first podcast. I was on
Yeah,
Flow to You
exactly.
podcast.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be like, let me tell you about my first podcast.
These guys sucked.
They were terrible, and I had to smile the whole time. They were so
Never.
bad.
I would not do that. So if you're in Austin, I do have a show on January. Wait, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, 20.
Oh no!
22nd. January 22nd at Irene's downtown in Austin. And if you're not in Austin, then just follow me on Instagram. It's Mel Safi. My name here with a period in between, Mel.Safi. Follow me on Instagram, and we'll hopefully see you at one of my shows.
That's awesome.
Phenomenal. I wish I could go. Let's see what happens. I
Maybe
don't know.
I'll be there. I might go on tour once I get this baby out of me.
Well, Mel, all you have to do is book something next October. So when Trey comes down for ACL again,
Oh, for sure.
We can come see you while we're there. So you
Oh,
just have
yeah.
to do it. And next year, Trey's going to try to make both weekends because he realizes that.
Good.
But
Good.
it's hard.
definitely
He has a
gonna be
real
there.
job, so he has a real job.
Well,
so
it would be from Friday to next. Technically, I would just need
Yeah,
all
well, 1
that
week,
time
yeah.
till Friday.
Yep.
So
I'll
yeah,
definitely
we'll make
be
it happen.
Then every weekend. So we'll see you
Well,
here for sure.
have you
Sheesh.
considered doing a TikTok yet, Mel?
You know, one of my girlfriends was like, "Oh, my niece says you should be on TikTok," and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't even. I need help. I'm open to it, but I have no idea how it works. So, if you know anyone who
Yeah.
can help me get on the TikTok."
Well, the reason I say that is that remember, guys, we're on TikTok. You can go check out Flows for You. They're on TikTok. I had a plan, Trey.
No, I got it.
Flows for You, and on Instagram, and on Twitch, and on YouTube, and on Facebook. All Flows for You or Flows for You Pod. If you can't find it there, come check us out. You'll see little clips from this show on our TikTok and our Instagram, so that should be all cool. And if you're looking for a new website, make sure you go to nomadweb.design. They are also in Austin, and they make great websites. So if you're looking for another website, they did our website at flowsforyou.com. The number 4, the letter U. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And again, if you're looking for an amazing birthday party, go to hiphop.houseparty.com. And Mel had one of them come, and it worked out for her. And you should check it out. Trey, what am I forgetting?
If you guys want to be on the show, feel free to hit us up at flowsforyou.com. That's our personal website where you can message us personally. That we need the questions of the day, or else we were just done with the segment because it was good while it lasted. We were kept using the same guy from Twitter, and we want to hear the questions of the day from you guys.
Yep.
And we want them on the show. And if not, that's okay. We just won't do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. So, Mel, this is the part I know you've been looking forward to. This is our close for the night. Well, you get to be Trey's therapist. You
Oh.
ask him 3 questions.
Oh, no.
And Trey has to pretend whatever you say is real life for him, and he has to answer why it's whatever the situation is. Pretty simple. Please let him blow up. Last week was pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. And it will be fun. Let me get the music ready.
Cue the music. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'll do the best I can to keep a straight face, but since you're a comedian, we'll see what happens.
All right, go for it. Welcome to Trey's therapy session with Dr. Mel.
Trey, why didn't you just tell your girlfriend at the restaurant that the waitress was your ex and that's the reason she didn't want to bring your food? You could have just been honest.
So, you know what? I appreciate you asking that question because Mel, it was my ex, and it was a guy. So that was the weirdest part about everything, that it was somehow in a weird time reality warp. It was a guy, and I should have just been open with her because it would have been for hey, this is my life, and she could have just dumped me there, or we could have moved on. And now I'll never know since I never asked that question or told her.
Except for now that she's heard it on the podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
I apologize to your girlfriend. Wait, I don't want to break character.
By the way,
She
this
doesn't watch-
is not
she doesn't
real,
watch the
guys.
show.
Just a heads up.
This is not real at all. If my ex was there, I would have said, and we're leaving.
Well, tell me why you and him broke up.
Oh
You set yourself up for that one, Trey.
no! He kept forgetting things. So we were trying to celebrate my birthday, and he forgot the entire day. And I was expecting a surprise, like, "Hey, haha, your whole family's here and stuff." No, he forgot for 2 years in a row.
Oh my god.
Therefore,
Wow, that sounds like a very successful dating relationship.
therefore, that was just not even the tip of the iceberg. And that's why I was like, "Hey, man, love you, dude, but we gotta part ways." Why am I
Here's your
doing
last
this?
question, May.
One last question, then our session's got to come to a close. Oh man, wait, how do I follow that?
You can go to a whole different question. It's fine.
What? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Tell me. Oh gosh. Tell me why you still wet the bed.
Ah! Look, it's a problem because I just can't hold it. It's a pelvic floor thing. I've gone to therapy for it. I don't know why this keeps happening. I guess I'm just not doing, the stretches right to just, build those muscles up. But I mean, I wake up. Those are for guys too. I wake up and I'm swimming in Niagara Falls and it's beautiful. And I have to clean. You don't know how expensive it is to change out sheets every week because washing them is not going to. Oh my god!
He just fills it up. He was so pee.
Why?
He just has a
This
hose
is our
hooked up.
therapy session, Scout.
Has a hose hooked up to the water bed. Thank
Mel,
you so
thank
much,
you so
guys.
much.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Mel. You're amazing. Stay on for just a few moments after we close the show so we can say thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you. This was
Of
awesome.
course. Go to Mel's show. If you don't go there, you can't be a fan of our show.
Wait, no, don't say that, Trey. We don't want to lose those 5 people.
Well,
If you're not in Austin, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram, y'all.
Yeah. But thank you so much, guys, for checking out the show. Can't wait to see you next week. If you're listening to the show right now on the podcast, come check us out live on Mondays at 5 p.m. CST on everywhere that you can find it, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're all there. We'd love to have you part of the conversation. And if you're not, go check out Flows For You, everywhere podcasts are. And thank you so much for listening to us and spending time with us. We hope you have an amazing, awesome night. And Trey.
yes, flows for you.
It's what we do now. It's what we do.
Take care, guys. We love you.
Are you looking for a different kind of podcast? How about informative and clean? It will make you laugh. Scout and Trey, yeah, that's what we do. We got a little funny thing, keeping it true. Hey, we take your topics and all your ideas and bring in a guest and we answer them there. Then we make a freestyle rap and do it for you. Yeah, that's what we do.